Good afternoon, freedom marchers, freedom family, freedom lovers, and freedom fighters. It is Snapzilla Gorilla. Welcome to Freedom's March. Today, I'm going to talk about this Obama shit, right? So apparently, Obama did a speech, of course, for the camel toe campaign. So he's helping with the camel toe campaign naturally, right? Because he's a Democrat, and he's a black Democrat. So they parade Barack Obama, right? They parade Barack Obama around, have him show up to this rally, whatever you want to call it, where he gives a speech, and he goes in on black men for not supporting Camel Toe Harris. Okay, not supporting Camel Toe Harris, and I find it very interesting because there are those out there, right? Especially those who believe in the left-right paradigm lie. They are fully bought in, right? They have fully consented to be governed, right? These individuals, it appears that they are surprised that Barack Obama has taken this stance when we should not be surprised in the least. We should not be the least bit surprised because this is the tactic they use to manipulate black folks into doing what they want them to do. Yes. Do they use action? Do they use substance? Do they use a plan? Are they presenting us with a better option? No, no, no. What they do is they shame black people, right? They'll shame black people into doing whatever they want them to do. And because black folks are so divided, we can't come together for shit. Well, that works. And yeah, I know people want to say, well, that's not going to work this time. Black folks are waking up. But are they woke? Are black folks really waking up? Because last time I checked, the majority of black folks out there are choosing to vote. Yeah, there is no but, or there is no for, right? They are choosing to vote, right? I think I see Jay with open eyes in the building, 22 Ronin, and someone on the bottom there. Damn. King RJ, how y'all doing? I got to be very careful because I don't have a phone mount in here, so I got to really pay attention to the road. I can't be looking down like that. But y'all get it. So here we are. They want to shame us, right? Oh yeah, I was saying that black folks are really not woke for the Democrat Party. Not vote for, right? Not vote for Camel Toe Harris. No, no, no. They're choosing to vote, period. The alternative is not voting for Republicans. The alternative is not voting for an independent party, for independence. The option is not voting for the Green Party. It's not voting for the Libertarian Party. No, there is no party that black folks should be voting for that has anything to do with this system. Y'all know my position that voting is submission. So they want us to submit. Barack Obama wants us to submit in general, right? He wants us to submit to Camel Toe Harris. He wants black men to submit to a woman who ain't did shit for black people. That ain't did shit for black men. but lock them up and keep them locked up. Barack Obama, who had 2 terms as president, and in his second term, where black folks had the delusion of believing that he would do something courageous, do something drastic, do something to push black folks forward because they felt like, well, he don't have to curry a vote no more. It's his last term. He can go out there and do all kind of shit for black people. No. He's gonna come up here and tell us what we should and shouldn't be doing. Is he fucking kidding me? I mean, the balls, right? The balls of this guy to stand there and tell us what we should be doing with a black ass vote. Well, I'll tell you what you should be doing with your black ass vote. You should be voting for yourself. Am I back, y'all? This is what I suggest y'all do with y'all vote, right? Cast a vote for your own independence. Cast a vote for self-sufficiency. Cast a vote for self-reliance, right? Cast a vote to get your reparations. Cast a vote that will ensure that the federal government will give up the lands that they claim for themselves so that we can go ahead and stake our claim in the land we choose to build ourselves. Land that we will defend with resources that we will defend, that will ensure our family, who we will defend, has a life worth living. I vote, I suggest that we cast a vote to be uncomfortable in our freedom. Because they have proven time and time again that they really don't give a shit about your black ass, about your white ass, about your breasts, about your yellow ass. They could care less about how you feel about anything. They have shown us this time and time again. Yet, we continue to seek different results. No one can tell me why we should vote for Camel Toe Harris. No one has showed me why we should vote for Donald Trump. No one has showed me why we should vote for an independent candidate or a Green Party candidate or a Libertarian candidate. No one has presented the opt-out party. Yes, the opt-out party. I talked about this before. I talked about starting a party for myself. Start a party myself. I'm thinking about starting a party myself. It does require participating in the system to a degree. Only enough to get the word out there. And of course, you probably won't ever get a vote, right? You probably won't get a single a vote at all whatsoever. You're not going to get on any debate stage. You're not going to be on any ballot, more than likely. But that's not the point, is it? The point is to help people understand that the framers of the Constitution, right? The Constitution we hold up so dearly and that we love so much. The framers of this Constitution gave us a way out. It gave us a way out, right? And it gave us a way. It gave us multiple ways to ensure that we can fight for that way out, right? Because it's going to be a fight. They're not just going to let you. They're not going to respect your rights, right? To opt out, right? They're going to make you fight for it. But there are many ways to fight. Yes, they gave you a way out. It's called consent to be governed. Yes, sir. Yeah, they gave us that. They said we have to consent to be governed. The only way we can be governed is if we give our consent. That's what the Constitution says. It says it before you get into all the articles, before you get into all the amendments. It says it in the preamble. Yeah, because if you give up your consent to be governed, if you no, not give it up. If you uh what the fuck? If you retract and remove your consent to be governed, then you ain't got to worry about near article or near amendment. You are then able to operate as a free and sovereign individual with no constitution to dictate your life, right? Just ethos and logos. But of course, they're going to shame you. They're not going to tell you, hey, yo, black folks, if the Republican Party or the Democratic Party aren't doing shit for you, why don't you just remove your consent? No one is going to tell you the real shit. They always present you with these false choices. The reason it's a false choice is because choices than just 3, 4, 5, 6. The only real choice. Here's your two choices: to be or not to be governed. Those are the real choices. But if you consent to be governed, well, it doesn't matter who you want to govern you. You're going to be governed by who the fuck they want you to govern. Be governed by. Once you say, hey, yeah, okay, I no longer have the faculties, or I don't have the faculties to to dictate my own life. Well, you no longer have a say. Vote all you want. Yeah, vote for this guy, vote for that woman, vote for the camel toe, vote for the orange man. It doesn't matter. Whoever we put in front of you, that's who the fuck you gonna listen to. That's who the fuck is gonna dictate your life. Is that how life should work? Well, I tell you what, if you give consent, that's on you. But what about those of us who don't give our consent? Hmm? What about those of us, let me get my water, who don't give our consent? Right? Unfortunately, as it stands right now, it doesn't matter. Because of this thing called eminent domain, which is illegal as fuck, right? Which is highly unconstitutional, right? Civil things like civil asset forfeiture, eminent domain, right? These uh these ways and means that they can use to violate your rights. Well, that's there. It's a complete violation, right? Violates 18 U.S. Code 241 and 242. So unfortunately, because of eminent domain and because of all these so-called federal lands that you can't just go in and just stake your claim, right? You can't even build without a permit, right? They have these so-called laws against just going out and living in the woods, minding your own business. It is against the so-called law to mind your own fucking business, to be left alone. So how does that work? These are complete violations of the Constitution. These are complete violations of your rights. But Barack Obama will come out and tell you, yo, your black ass need to vote for Kamala. I mean, Biden did the same shit, really. He did the same shit in the last election cycle, right? When he said, if you have an issue on deciding whether or not you're going to vote for me or Trump, then you ain't black. He shamed black folks. He shamed black folks into voting for him. And he did that to a black man named Charlemagne that pissant, right? Because he's no god. Charlemagne the pissant sat there, and let me tell you, if he was a god, he would have struck Biden ass down right then and there, or strike down his assertion. But he did not, because he's not a god. So, yeah, he should remove that. He should drop that and put in pissant, because Uh, well, Biden pissed on him, right? Biden pissed on his head and told him it was raining. And Charlemagne, the guy, the pissant, collected that goddamn piss and watered his plants with it. And that's why he's malnourished. This shit's hilarious to me, y'all. It's hilarious to me because this is what they do every election cycle. If you choose to go your own way, even if it's to go vote for Trump, if you wanted to break from the norm and break from the expectations, right? What they expect you to do, well, then they have to shame you because they're not going to do anything else to try to get your vote, right? They're not gonna come up with a plan. They're not gonna promise they're gonna do anything for you, just like Camel Toe did. Camel Toe Harris told you that she wasn't gonna do shit specifically for black people. But yet we have these clown shoes out here pushing Camel Toe like it's going out of style. Like the amazing clown shoe Lucas, right? The amazing ass hat Lucas, the amazing dingy hat Lucas will he shames black folks too to vote to support Camel Toe Harris. But he calls himself an independent. That is the most contradictory idiot, the most cognitive dissonance suffering asshat or dingy hat motherfucker that has ever existed today, that has ever existed on this planet. He told you he wasn't a statist, and he told you he was an independent, which, those are diametrically opposed positions, right? You cannot be not a statist. You can't be an independent without being a statist, because an independent, well, you're part of a political party, right? A political party that wants to govern over people, right? That wants to be in the position to govern over people. They want to get seats in Congress. They want to get seats in the Senate. They want to get people in the presidency. And ultimately, what do presidents do? They are executive officers, right? Well, that's statism. If you're an independent, you're a statist. So you can't be an independent and a statist. So those contradictions are well pointed out and well at hand. And then you can't be an independent and push Camel Toe. You can't push Trump or Camel Toe and be an independent. I mean, you can do what you want, but you're still going to be suffering from cognitive dissonance. You're still going to be contradicting yourself. Just like Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders was a so-called independent until he wanted to run for president. Then he ran as a Democrat. Well, that just tells me you don't stand on business. You don't stand on your nuts. What you do is, oh, well, I align more with the Democrats, so I'm going to go that way when I run for president. No, you're a milk toast motherfucker. You're a fence-sitting milk toast clown, and you have no conviction. Zero conviction. Just like the amazing ass hat, the amazing dingy hat Lucas, who pushes Camel Toe on you as an independent. He is a milk toast fence bastard, right? That's what he is. But because, he acts like he's this tough guy, we're supposed to believe that makes sense. No, no, no. You can't fool everybody, my friend. You can't fool everybody. Listen, Obama can shove it up his ass, right? Just keep doing your speaking engagements and making millions of dollars. I ain't mad at you. I ain't hating on you. But quit trying to drag black folk into this left-right paradigm bullshit. Stop trying to drag anybody into it. We need to be dragged out of the left-right paradigm lie. The left-right paradigm is the worst thing and the most divisive thing in this country, right? Does anybody disagree with that? There's nothing more divisive than the two-party system. It's inherently divisive. It has to be. It's more divisive than the Federalist versus the non-Federalist. If y'all know what I'm talking about, y'all know what I'm talking about. You see, the Federalist and the not and the anti-Federalist compromised to create the Constitution and create the central government, the federal government as it exists today, right? And that Constitution was supposed to keep these motherfuckers in check, right? There's nothing in the Constitution that says, well, you got to be only a Republican or a Democrat can be president, or there can only be two parties. There only one of two parties in the House and in the Senate can have majority control. There's nothing in there that says that, right? It could easily be, without all the manipulation, without the left-right paradigm line manipulation, it could easily be parliamentary. If you guys know what a parliamentary system is, then you know that every party has a number of seats, right? Every party has a number of seats based on the percentage of the vote they get in a popular vote. And it doesn't matter, right? There is no majority. Well, there's a majority, but there's no there necessarily does not have to be a 51% majority. Even though there's things in the Constitution that dictate that. Well, you don't have to have that. At least the representation would be a lot more balanced, right? You'd have a lot more balanced representation in a parliamentary system. But at the end of the day, even a parliamentary system is flawed, right? Because your constituents, let's say you have 5 or 6 parties in the Congress and in the Senate, or in the Parliament. Let's say you have 5 or 6 people, 5 or 6 parties in the Parliament. They each have a percentage of seats. Well, the constituent for, let's say, the Green Party, they're spread out throughout the country, right? They're spread out. They're not all living in one place. So even then, you cannot represent all of your constituents because they're not all aligned, right? They may have voted for you, but they're not all aligned in their thinking. So what does that mean? That means that you cannot represent every constituent that you have. You cannot represent every member of your party, every registered voter. It just can't. It's not possible. That's why when you boil it down to the end of the day, the best person to represent you is yourself. And if you have to have a representative, well, that representative needs only to represent a small number of people, at most 5 or 10, right? And it's easier to ensure that your representative are acting in your best interest. Yeah, I mean but that makes too much sense though. Too much logos involved with that. Too much logos. Y'all know what logos is? That's logic, right? It's basically that's a term used when you are trying to convince people, or when you are operating on a certain system, right? Because when you look at these candidates and they try to garner your vote and they campaign, they're campaigning on pathos a lot of the time, especially Democrats, right? That is how it works, right? The Democrat Party, they operate in logos or in ethos mostly, right? Appeal to emotion. That's what ethos is. Not ethos, pathos. Pathos is appealing to emotion. Appealing to emotion. That's what they do. They try to pull at heartstrings. They do this. They do that. They make up lies. They manipulate. Right. That's what they do. And then you can operate. You can operate in ethos, which is ethics. You can operate out of ethics. That is what. That's what Republicans try and pretend to run on, right? Or logos. Logos is appealing to logic. Logos is appealing to logic. But there is no logic. There is no logic. When you look at how our government works, there is no logic. J-Man was good. Yes, Obama did expose himself. Dead Mike in the building. Tank Davis is the face of boxing. Stay mad. No, he's not. Simple. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Republican House and Senate. Yeah, I mean that's how they. The silly question. Well, there is no silly question. The only silly question is the one that isn't asked. Well, um, he asked an easy question. A question he has an answer to. Who am I voting for? I think you know the answer to that question. I don't vote, my friend. South Carolina's on Alabama's next. I believe it. Good for them. Believe it. Good for them. I haven't really been keeping up with college football, but I do live in South Carolina now, so I guess if it's Alabama versus South Carolina, I got South Carolina. The Republicans pretend to appeal to logic, but they motion just on different things. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That great point, Jay, with open eyes for the way that the Republicans appeal to ethos or use pathos is with the Donald Trump assassination attempts, right? Good point. Because they're very emotional about that man. They're very emotional about him. That is their I'm not gonna say it. That's their God, but whatever. The people get invested emotionally over him. Exactly. Here's the thing, man. No individual should have that much sway over how you live your life. You understand? No individual should have that much sway over how you live your life. Should people be attempting to assassinate other people because they're trying to be president? Not necessarily. But I mean, people die every day, B. People die every day, B. You know what I'm saying? You got to move on with your life. But Trump didn't die, yo. Trump did not die. So guess what? If you were riding with Trump, you riding with Trump because of the policies. That's how it should work, right? That's where the logos comes in. And if you're voting for Trump because of you know morally, ethically, you feel like he's going to stop funding these banker wars, that makes sense, right? That's the ethical thing to do. Stop dragging us into these banker wars, right? Stop dragging us into these wars where you're wasting our taxpayer dollars. But what would be the ultimate appeal to ethics for any president? What would be the best use of logos and pathos? Or no, logos and ethos when it comes to a president? Number one, I feel if you're going to really upset the apple cart and present yourself as different as doing something that is going to make a real change, it would be by abolishing the IRS and the Federal Reserve and repealing the Federal Reserve Act. Yeah. It would be by rolling back eminent domain, repealing eminent domain, just strike it down out of hand because it's unconstitutional. It would be by striking down civil asset forfeiture. It would be by getting rid of all 20 plus thousand gun control laws. Just eliminate it. Period. Right? Go by what the Second Amendment says. It would be by eliminating that. These are things that will bring about real change, right? Reverse the violation of rights that they call laws, not one by one, but bundle by bundle, by the thousands, by the millions, as many as you can, right? Out of hand, because guess what? They violate the precious Constitution. They violate your rights, and guess what? Do you need to go to court for that? Absolutely not, because it's common sense, right? Right? It's common sense. It's common sense. Common sense is repealing every violation of free speech through the laws that they use, even the yelling fire in the movie theater, all that bullshit. Get that out of here. J-Man says, I live in Cali. My vote don't matter anyway. Super liberal over here. Yeah, real shit. The ones with the money ain't rocking with it. Yeah. Well, that's why I left Cali. That's for sure. That's why I left Cali. I mean, am I still stuck in the left right paradigm? Yes, but it's a lot better over here in terms of, you know, in terms of the level at which your rights are violated. You get a little more freedom, but not true 100% unadulterated freedom. Not as of yet. Yeah, homeowners, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.